We're building an off-grid cabin designed to last 100 years deep in the boreal forest of northern Canada. There's no roads to this property. During the summer, every board, every tool, and nearly every supply used to build this cabin has to come up this river. During the day, most hazards are easy enough to spot, but after dark, it's a different story. River logs are almost impossible to see until you're right on top of them. And if you hit one at speed, you could destroy the motor and find yourself stranded on the river after dark.
I don't know what happened.
Most folks would call this place unlivable. We call it an engineering problem. Acres of northern bush, no road, no power, no easy way in. We haul by boat, we haul by sleigh, we winch through muskeg. And we engineer comfort in a place that gives nothing for free. Like when we were kids building forts in the forest. Only now the trees are bigger, and so are the dreams. I feel like Sean from Carburetor Outdoor going into my camp after dark. What I need is a decent river flashlight. You can see the beaver moving down the river. Out here, it's important to keep an eye on the sky. 4 fingers between the sun and the horizon is roughly an hour. Today I got distracted. I'm inside the windowless big box store picking up supplies, and by the time I walk back out, I know I'm late. I knew I still had to make it back to the boat launch and make the trip upriver to the cabin. And I knew by the time I got to the water, the sun would be gone. That's the problem. You can't see. I hit a log. Oh, this is not good. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what happened. Oh, this is so brutal. So I figured out what it was when I was driving the boat and the trailer. Jerry can, or the fuel can, turned over, and I guess it was on top of the fuel line, which is causing it to like run out of fuel. Now now the sun is coming from behind those clouds, so it's giving some more light. But literally without being able to without knowing what the river was, I couldn't, there's no way I could have navigated here. We need to work on the river because I hit that log. Got to fix that problem. And then we'll get a light so that I can run this at night. Like, why shouldn't I? I should be able to run in and out at night. Not gonna lie, the panic started to set in a little bit there. Like, I was up the river without a motor. I have paddles, but it would have sucked to have to paddle this thing all the way back with like a Doesn't have oars. Driving through the bush like this with the Argo, I suppose you slowly get used to being out here. There was a time when there wasn't a chance I'd be making this trip after dark. We're a long way from help, and if something goes wrong out here, nobody's saddling up and heading into the wilderness in the middle of the night. They'll be waiting for daylight, and I honestly can't say I blame them. But after enough years, the place starts to feel familiar. The trails, the river, the bends in the road, what once felt wild starts to feel a little more like home. That said, I'm still mighty glad I'm riding and not walking. Between the river and the cabin lies a corduroy road built from rough logs, and after dark it's less of a trail and more of a carefully organized collection of opportunities to fall flat on your face. The fundamental issue I was against is this key set here, accessory to the left, on to the right, and then start. The problem is the way that the Argo engine, the Kohler, shuts off. When this goes to off, it should connect the ignition to ground, and this doesn't have that. So that the ignition is normally connected through to ground on the relay, but when I put it to the on position, it applies power to the relay and opens that. I'm using this to add the functionality to this key switch. And then I'm gonna mount it in the dash here. I gotta cut this apart, and then what's gonna happen is it's gonna stop working. I won't know like why and whatever. There's a cigarette lighter on the dash, which I need. This is a part of the evolution of the channel, and we'll get to it later, but I need that cigarette lighter as a 12-volt source. If you're in accessory or on, cigarette lighter will be on. I'm thinking the lights go to the accessory position and the lights are on. The blower fan will come on in the on position for the brakes. But I'm also going to use a switch here to shut the blower fan off if I want. And then finally, there's a battery meter. And I want the battery meter to come on in accessory mode. It doesn't draw that much power. Battery meter works. Good. So that's the battery meter. Now I would argue the best way to do this is probably the stepper bit, but I don't have a stepper bit with me. So I'm just gonna have to That's getting nasty. Ooh. Okay. I think we're gonna go with it. Jam nut's nice machined piece, but the stuff in the back is cast and it will break. Okay. This is the light control, and it's old-fashioned, like pull it. Last one is the fan switch. Now I probably should have checked this all before I like. The convention is when the switch goes up, it's on. Maybe in Australia it's the other way. One thing that I think is really interesting is why is Australia down under? Just because Europeans came from the northern hemisphere, so we assume that that was the top of the world. But it just as likely could be that the southern hemisphere is the top. It's arbitrary. Okay, let's see. Accessory. We're getting 12.6. That looks good. Lights. Okay, you watch and tell me if it's working. Huh? Yeah. 1, 2, and the rear light. It kind of looks like it's pointing up, but that's fine. It'll be nicer when I'm driving through the bush and it's pitch black to know that there's no, I can look over my shoulder, no, there's no bears running up behind me. So, lights off. Fan does not come on. This is right. Okay, that's the off position. This is the on position. So we got the battery back. The fan's working. So the fan has a blower and it channels air onto the brake. So if you're cranking, like when you're driving, when you're steering, which you're always steering, you're pulling the brakes, and then the brakes will overheat. So the blower keeps everything cool. Now on a trip from here to the river, there's no point in having the blower on. It'll never heat up from here to the river. Even from here to the river and back, even twice maybe. Now the problem was the mag or the charger on this Kohler does not have enough voltage really. It's power, but the voltage doesn't get high enough to charge the battery when the engine is idling. And I ran into some problems where the engine was idling and I was using the winch to try and pull myself out, and the blower was going and it was just discharging the battery. So I had to sit there and rev it up to charge the battery to use the winch, and then I just pulled the plug off the fan and everything worked. But that's not a long-term solution, obviously. I can hear the relay clicking. It's a good sign. Let's see. Woo! Is if I shut this back off, now if I put the lights on, lights are still working. So the relay works, they shut down. That's awesome. So this isn't a game changer, but this is a lifestyle upgrade, because I've always had to take this out, and I don't even have the right key. I was just using a key, bending the heck out of it, you know, to try and get it to turn. I think this is a job well done. But everything's working now. Winch is working again, battery's working, lights are working, battery meter's working, and the big thing is cigarette lighter's working. That's gonna be game changer. And you'll find out why. Ah, what a disaster. What a small tank on this thing. Okay. Yeah, maybe that was it. Yeah, there was crappy fuel in there. I don't know which one is the fuel intake and which one's the fuel return. I gotta take this thing apart, really. I don't want to. I'm being lazy. I gotta take it apart. I can't be lazy. I gotta do the proper engineer thing.
Well, the Argo's finally up to snuff. With a little luck, that'll be the last bit of attention it needs for the season. I'm pretty happy with the shape it's in. Around here, it's our pickup truck. Everything that comes off the river and heads up to the cabin rides on its back sooner or later. But keeping the Argo running is only half the battle. Now it's the river's turn. For a couple years now, we've talked about clearing some of these logs out. During the day, they're easy enough to spot, but after dark, it's a different matter entirely. Even with a bright light, you're never going to catch every deadhead hiding just beneath the surface. And if the river is going to be our road, it only seems fair to do a little road maintenance now and then.
Boy, is that ever messy business, man. Whoa. I can't get to the other side of the boat now. That's a big frickin' mess in the boat. The heck. It's not easy, man. I don't know how the moose do it. They can do it no problem. Holy shoot. Actually, I don't know why I went here. There's some nice grassy places just down the river a bit. So let's do that. Oh. Yeah, there's a grassy place right there. Whoa. That wasn't so bad. Look at that. Oh, the rope was still attached to it. A wise man once said, don't throw a log with rope tied to boat. We're gonna, yeah. All right. I mean, that's pretty much. These pastures are cool. I've seen some moose right here, right on this bend. They were out in the river and they were like, oh, I came around the corner. Two beside each other, two big moose. Whoever cuts the grass here is gonna be pissed off that I left it here. I think it's the moose. I think the moose just hang out here and cut the grass. Oh, all these are springing to life. You see how green this is? In another 2 weeks, this is gonna be, I hurt my back somehow. Pulled a muscle. Not sure how it happened. That's okay. It's all right. Take one for the team. Everybody who comes up this river is gonna go, ah, thank goodness off-grid engineering cleaned all the logs out and made their boat super muddy. It's a dirty job, but somebody's got to do it. Ouch. It's a lot of logs in this river to clear out, that's for sure. None of them are gonna be easy, but they're gonna be fun. Pain is just weakness leaving the body. I got one right there. That was the first one I saw all season. And she's gonna be a dragger. We'll just drag it down the river. It's like a crocodile, a logadile. Brutal, there's another one right here. Right there, we'll have to come back for that one. I mean, that one's not that, they're not that bad because they're not in the middle. See, there was a time I thought every spring a whole bunch of logs would come down here, but it's not the case. I see the same logs in the same spot every year. It's a wagon. Going like this. That log was coming in hot. Anybody get the license plate on that log? Oh. Let's see if I can. It's hard, man. There, I pulled the log out. It ain't going anywhere. That thing's so heavy. I couldn't even get it out. That's the one I hit last night. We'll have to rope it. Okay, there we go. We've got the log on plane. That's a fast way to clear the river. And that's the bolt launch there, so I'm just gonna dump it right here. Did anybody get the license plate of that log? Gone. Oh. All right, where are you going, buddy? You're coming with us. You have the right to remain still. Anything you say will be put in our log. And see if you'll go silently. Donk. Now I just dropped the log right here, so I gotta make sure I don't hit it. Oh, this one's a lot longer. I don't know. I guess that was a success, except for I hurt my back. That's all right. I'll go into town and get a massage. Oh, just kidding. Oh, crap. Oh. Just can't catch a break. because my back is totally wrenched. Well, that was 1 tank of fuel, and that's my promise to myself is you work on the trail, 1 tank of fuel, and you get on to other stuff, and we'll come back. Yeah, black flies are a thing. I hurt my back yesterday pulling the logs out of the river, and I just like a spasm in the lower back. I think it was from like lifting and then the boat rocking and trying to stabilize myself, and then all of a sudden I got this wicked spasm. Kind of stayed with me all night. I hope it goes away because it's hard to, basically everything out here requires a good back. I mean, it's gonna go away. I just hope it goes away quick. Definitely a nice place to be working. Couldn't have a better workbench in the world. And the wind is stiff, it's from the north. It's keeping the bugs away, not that there really is any bugs. I've only seen a couple so far, but I'm sure they're gonna come. Decided to man up and fix this the proper way. I don't know how this thing's bolted on. It looks like there's a hole there, but like 1, 2, 3. I can always readjust it, but now the fuel pump's working well because there's a huge amount of pressure up there. So you can open this up. This is like, it feels like working on an airplane engine. Tiniest little needle in there inside, and there's crud on it. Oh, well, that's not what I was expecting. This thing just popped off. Interesting. The air, that's why I couldn't find these screws, because the air filter screws were holding it on. Wow. I'm gonna edit that part out so people don't see that I look like an idiot. That's an interesting thing. We are in the boreal forest. That's what they call this area, northern Canada. Well, all over the north, actually, all over the world. But it's the boreal forest of northern Ontario. Boreal comes from the god of the north wind, Boreas. That's him today. It's cool. I'm a Canadian, so I have a thick skin. Apparently, that's what they tell us. Whoop, great. Yeah, just you drop that in the dirt because the dirt actually helps make it more natural. Now, so this is carburetor cleaner, and it's super nasty stuff. Don't get it on your hands. It's a good thing we're not in California because it's known to do really bad stuff in California. Nowhere else though. Hate to live in California. California, I think it's because of the sun. Everything gives you cancer there. So I don't know, is that enough? Like there's some kind of fluid getting through at my in my lab. I would put it under the microscope and take a look, see what's going. Now I forgot to put those little rubber hoses on the back before I screwed that on, which is fine, which is okay. We're gonna count this back in. 1, 2. That can always be adjusted. That's just the throttle stop. It needs to go over top of. Now this is the time we see, like, will this fix it or not? And it may not. It may have to open it again, but that's all right. Just take your time and do it properly. So, full choke. Yeah, we're right back to where we were. It's really windy today. There's no way I could be doing the roof today. But it's nailing this tarp. The tarp is not tied down as good as it was before. It's got all this work done on it and it's flapping in the breeze. Sounds vicious. So let me give you a tour of the place. That's the cabin. Been putting up with this wind all day long. It's a good thing I wasn't doing the roofing today because there's just no way. I did it the first day because I was like, well, I gotta learn how to do this. I gotta work out the bugs. So if it's going slow, that's fine. And it was a good decision because I got half of it done, and then yesterday I got the other half done. I gotta do that other side once I can. I spent the day editing, and then editing's like the homework, the off-grid homework. Can you see the moon? There's a moon up there. I love looking at the moon, especially in the daytime. Becca's gonna like this. There's some flowers coming out. That's one thing I'll say, like, I should do like a before and after shot. You see how big of a difference like a week makes, or week and a half. Like the green is starting to show up. Yeah, the green's really showing up. That's where I got the tractor stuck. So yeah, place is getting green. I'm cleaning up some of this, like all these sticks. I gotta rake them all up from the bush hog. I get these out because I trip over them. And I also want to start mowing the grass. Just mow the grass. You know, we're not gonna plant any grass or anything silly like that. So I saw this, that apparently droppings from either a wolf or a lynx that ate a rabbit. And apparently they just eat all the fur and everything, and then that's what passes out. This doesn't feel like home yet. Every time I've moved somewhere, I've been very aware that there's a certain amount of time that suddenly that new place that I'm at feels like home. Does it feel like you're away from home anymore? And this doesn't feel like that yet, but it's getting close, I think. I think partly because it's not set up, and I kind of am living in one corner of the cabin because of all the foam and everything stored in there. I was doing this today, I was editing, and then let's go out and do some raking, which is, you know, generally not fun, but compared to editing, Yeah, it probably is.
The sun goes down, Venus and Jupiter follow close behind, and when the moon sets, it gets a little darker. We often get aurora borealis here in the northern boreal forest. Honestly, it's been a typical spring day. I've been in editing, so the days kind of line up with my schedule, at least. Battery's getting low. I'll give her a little drink here and let her charge the battery. Won't give her too much.
After a day with my nose to the grindstone, and not a type of work that I really appreciate doing, that's for sure. Around here, back-breaking labor, I'll take it any day, honestly. Gives the man a sense of accomplishment. Well, let's hit the road. It's amazing how much green there is just after a week. Would you see how much this river has dropped? It's crazy. I came over the hill, I'm like, where the hell's the boat? There's the boat, but like we're losing serious level in this river. It wasn't long ago, like it was up here. It wasn't long ago where I was like putting some like 2x4s across to try to step on it when it was on the snow, on the ice. We gotta let this dock out more again. Doesn't take much, does it? Isn't this beautiful, these birds? Yeah, now it's this one. We need to build a ramp, seriously, because this is wet. You gotta put on a wet life jacket. I remember when I was a kid, like we'd have to put on like wet life jackets and you'd be like, ew, this is disgusting. They weren't fancy ones like these. They were like the cotton, like, yeah. These aren't fancy, but those ones really weren't. It's not so bad. Honestly, it's not so bad. It's kind of nice. You take the Argo to the boat. People want to do this on their weekends, and I get to do it during the week, so I should be counting my blessings. Now with the river lower, we're gonna have to watch for deadheads and logs. Bloody cold, not dressed for it. I need to keep a coat with me in this time of weather, or this time of year. have an extra coat in my bag so I can pop it on if I get cold. It's freezing. Oh. Well, that wasn't half bad. It wasn't half good, but it wasn't half bad. Honestly, I can't tell you if it's quieter in the cabin or out here, or louder in the cabin or out here. I don't mind them singing me to sleep. I actually really enjoy it. They're busy like this all night. What I've got here is a new convertible chest fridge freezer that I'm gonna run here. It's gonna make my life so much better because I'll have a fridge. Relatively, it's energy efficient. It's 195 kilowatt hour. I am gonna run it in fridge mode, which takes a little bit more power counterintuitively. That's because the compressor has to cycle more for fridge temperatures. Compressor startups take power. One of the things I'm doing is storing these water jugs in there, and actually I got 3 and happily 3 will fit in here. That's why I got the larger one. This is a 7 cubic foot, and those will keep the temperature from fluctuating. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut this down when I go to bed. So I'm going to bring it down to 1 degree. I'm going to shut it off, and the hope is it'll stay below 4 degrees by the time I wake up. So that means the inverter's not running. I'll be doing more loading during the day when the sun's shining, and eventually we'll have solar. So see how it goes. At least this is going to be a lifestyle upgrade for me because I'm going to be able to have cream for my coffee. I'm going to eat healthy food because I hate this packaged and canned and stuff. I just want meat and vegetables and cook it, and then I can put it in the fridge at the end of the day. That's the big problem. You can't get a small package of meat. So I was throwing food away, and anyway, it's going to be a game changer. Looking forward to it. These guys popped in today. It's an oldie but a goodie. Have these. Just Becca would like to see all this stuff for sure. Bushes are starting to boom. Just no time. Not sure what these are. This thing looks interesting. Now over here, behind the beaver dam, this is the beaver dam right here. You can see these things are just crazy. I wonder what these are. They didn't take long. You see all this fresh grass starting to grow in the water. So what I'm thinking about doing is taking this scaffolding down and moving it to the other side. Just remember, I gotta do something about this chimney pipe. Guess I gotta take that down. Well, that sucks. Didn't mean to do that. Slipped out of my hands. Ooh, didn't want that to fall down either. Almost did. When I built this, I put a 2x6 flat, and then I put a 2x6 upright. That was what I used the ladder into. So I'll do the exact same thing on the other side. It did work reasonably well, actually. You know, I had to sit there and think for a while, how was I gonna get the foam and the sheets up on the roof without putting holes through the membrane or the foam or whatever. So I came up with a pretty good solution. I was really happy with it, actually. A lot of thinking was involved. And you know, there's guys that, you know, they're pros and they're able to completely, you know, they've done it all before. So they don't think about it when they go and do it, or maybe they never even had to invent the process. It's just somebody, the journeyman, when they were an apprentice, a journeyman showed them the best way to do it. I don't have that benefit. So I just got to kind of think my way through. Just the last one over here. Part of the problem is I screwed that board down into these. I put the rafter tails over top, so now on several of them I can't get the screws out because they're covered with the rafter tails. Not sure what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna snap the screws or get the Sawzall. Whoa, that's the challenge because yeah, you're on top of, I'm lucky that I didn't come crashing down on this one. Got a sliver. Not really, but figure out where this is together and take it apart. All right. That one's out. Half of it's done. That's a good feeling. Well, not quite half, but unless you're a mathematician. Yeah. We're gonna untie this now because good. We'll take this out. Holy crap. These are pretty heavy. That pipe is totally clear. I rarely use it, but double it like it's insulated pipe. Now I want to be careful of the flue pipe, so I took that nail out, or screw out. I think I'm gonna leave this screw in here and then take the other ones out, and then I should be able to flip it up and get it out gracefully. So that's exactly what I was hoping for. And what we'll do, uh-oh, the ladder's slipping. Well, this is done now, but I have to build the scaffolding, because if I don't, we're gonna have a problem with the wind, because the wind's picking up tonight and it's gonna start lifting the tarp. Well, I'm sure it'll be right off. So we'll start with these three. And then what we'll do is, I'll just tie that right now. Ow.
You definitely get faster at this sort of thing as you go. When I built the scaffolding on the other side of the cabin, I was out here with a level, checking everything twice and making sure it was all just so. It took a good long while. This time, the level's staying in the toolbox. I'm just eyeballing it, smacking it together, and carrying on with life. Experience is a wonderful thing. It gives you the confidence to do in 15 minutes what used to take an hour. And if it turns out crooked, well, that's a problem for future Trevor.
When you screw them down like this, it locks everything together. So this is the rail. The 2 is what the ladder sits in.
Before you go, do us a favor. If you want to see this place finished, the trail, the field, the cabin that's meant to outlast us, hit this subscribe. We're not chasing a number. Every subscriber is one more person saying yes, keep going. And that's the signal we use to decide how big we go, what we say yes to, what we leave for next year. A 100-year cabin doesn't get built by one man, it gets built by people who decided to stick around and watch it happen. Thank you for being one of them.